Thank you, thank you. Well, as you can see, I'm not Tom Keys. And I'm going to be, I'm here for Tom today. That's what I would say. So, yay. And let's get our vibration going here, guys. Are you ready? You all know this wonderful song, I Release. So let's release and have some fun. There was a time in my life when I used to live by myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. When I feel it, didn't see it coming through another day. You've gotta let it all go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more trouble, no more strife. In my faith I walk in light. I am free here in spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. In my faith I walk in light. I am free here in spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free here in spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. All right. Let's welcome Tina. Thank you, Tina.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much. And thank you, Tom, for being here to lead us along. I know you don't feel well, and we just healing energy your way for sure. So thank you, everybody, for being here. We're just so grateful to have you here. And if you're watching us on YouTube, well, thanks for tuning in. So We always like to start our service by affirming our prayer for our church and our vision and mission statements. So our prayer for our church together: God is our strength, our substance, our source, and our supply. We open our mind to divine ideas, and we are grateful for the flow of good in our ministries. And our vision statement: we are love, honoring the divine in all. And our mission statement: we awaken, inspire, and transform lives through loving kindness, education, and service. Absolutely. And at this time, we'd like to thank those that help make this service possible. And we'd like to thank Bill and Tom so much for being on audio and vocals. And Mark is on camera today. Waverly is streaming. And our trustee today is Rosemarie. Our greeters today were Fiona and Marilyn. And today, our speaker is our wonderful Reverend Ken. Yay. Thanks for being here. We've missed you, so it's nice to have you here. Hospitality today is provided by Angie and Tom. I have to say that. Very good. We have a few announcements today. Immediately after following service today is the Circle of Connection, and that's always such a great time to really delve into what Reverend Ken has to say in his speech. And so please stop by after. The book study group began this October the 2nd via Zoom, and the title of their book is The Courage to be Disliked. And it's a very interesting book, so please be sure to see Diane or Howard if you are interested in joining them. I don't know why I'm just kind of flipping today. Not very smooth, but that's okay. That's all right. Okay, October the 12th, this coming Saturday, is our annual picnic. Yes, and it is going to be held at Laguna Niguel Regional Park. And that will be from 11 to 4, and that is at 28241 La Paz Road, site number 10. Site number 10. Remember, that's a sacred spot because that's where Tom and Angie got married 26 years ago. So we love to continue to give that spot a lot of energy. If you have any questions, please be sure to ask any of our board members. Bill can give you a lot of information if you have any questions at all. Bring a pumpkin so that you can decorate your pumpkin, and bring your musical instruments. That's your drums, whatever. Bring it. All right. Name tag making day is going to be October the 20th. So be sure to stop and make yourself a name tag. On October the 27th, Shanice and I will be celebrating Dia de los Muertos. So please bring a picture of your loved ones that have passed, and that does include your furry friends too. Okay, so this is the time, if you remember, where we celebrate those that have passed, and we like to just celebrate them and remember them at this time. So be sure to join in on that. The women's group is still collecting gently used clothing, and they are going to be donating it to Laura's house. Chaplains will be available after service today for prayer, and so they will be over here, and so be sure to stop in and have your chaplains pray with you. And I would really like to welcome back the Harnacks. They've been missing for a month or so now. We missed you so much, and it's just so nice to have you back here with us again. So you look great, Stephanie, so I think things are going well. Healing slowly but surely, and that's all that it takes. So welcome back. All right, I think that will cover that. And so we'll now have our congregational song.
So we're starting with a new piece of music that's lovely and fits with our service. It's called In This Very Room. And if you know, you can sing along. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough power, peace, and quite enough power to walk through our any fear. For Spirit, one Spirit, is in this very room. In this very room. In this very room. Beautiful. Okay, now we are going to ask Reverend Ken to come out.
Well, good morning, everybody. And we are in the flow, we're in the sync of the universe, and regardless of what changes around us, we just move with it. And so at this moment, I would like you to turn your attention to this beautiful candle we have here. And this candle represents the Christ light in each and every one of us. The Christ light that infuses this room with love, compassion, kindness, wisdom, understanding. And so as we look at this box next to it, this box of prayers that were faithfully written, lovingly written and put in this box, we just acknowledge that Christ light in each and every one of these that we pray for. Each and every one of these persons, situations, communities. We just hold that light shining forth, bringing about the highest and best for each and every one of these, for prosperity, for health, for wholeness, for healing. And we extend a special prayer and send our loving energy and thoughts to those folks that have been just devastated by the hurricane back east, and also in those parts of the world that are having war and strife and everything. We just hold that energy and that light in each and every one of these persons, moving to peace, to love, to understanding, to fulfillment, to restoration. And now we just release this. And we say, Amen, it is so. All right, I'm getting used to this new format of service, so bear with me here. So what happens when you go away? Things get changed. It's like somebody was talking to me about going to the supermarket, right? And you know how they change things around at the supermarket? And you're just like, oh man, I knew where the cookies were, and now I gotta like go down 6 different aisles and buy a bunch of stuff that I don't want. So today's daily word is appropriate for this moment, and that is joy. Joy. Just feel that for a moment. And we have our affirmation that goes with this word, this idea, this feeling. And it says, I rejoice in life's simple pleasures. Let's say that together once. I rejoice in life's simple pleasures. And our word for today, our description of this word and these ideas behind it say, life's biggest moments. That's weddings, births, graduations, celebrations are cause for joy. But joy is also found in life's simpler faces. Life's simpler momentary happenings that comprise daily livings. Joy is in the sunrise, in my morning prayer, in the familiar faces forward to seeing, in the satisfaction I get from my work. It is in my favorite things and in the sweet surprises that come with some things new and different. Joy is in the comfort that I find in my favorite spiritual practices and renew as I deepen my spiritual insight. However it manifests, joy is part of me, a way to feel peace, a way to feel God in my heart and deeper in my soul. And our verse for today comes from Chronicles, chapter 29, verse 22, and it says, "And they ate and drank before the Lord, and on that day with great, great joy." And so now we move into a time of meditation, a time to come away for a little while. I'm sure we've all had a busy week of some sorts, lots of stuff going on. So I invite you now to get comfortable in your seats if you haven't done so already. Maybe close your eyes and just kind of let your body sway to the music that Bill is playing. Let the sound reverberate through your ears, through your head, moving down your neck and shoulders. As we take now a deep and collective holy breath, breathing in, holding it for a moment, and just letting it out. Big sigh if you wish. And bringing it in for another moment. Holding it and letting it out. And just releasing all the negative energy, all the to-dos, all the don'ts. Just letting it go. And with each consecutive breath, we just put ourselves into that universal flow. That deep, abiding presence, just breathing in and breathing out. And I invite you now to hold this affirmation that I speak into your headspace, in your consciousness. I am in sync with the flow of universal good. And just feel those words for a moment. I am in sync with the flow of universal good. I invite you now to just feel yourselves in that flow, flowing with the music and the harmony and the rhythm, moving sideways, back and forth, feeling the good things that are with you now and the good things that are coming to you. If any unpleasant thoughts or feelings or visions come to you, we simply just float past them, saying to ourselves, this too shall pass. As we are safe, we are in the river of divine good. In our little spiritual inner tube, nothing can harm us. The flow is warm as we just move at a nice, relaxing pace, observing the good things that we desire. And now we take this for a few moments, this feeling and these beautiful visions, for a period in the silence. Just flow in the silence. Move in the silence. I am in sync with the flow of the universal good. I am in sync with the flow of universal good. As we begin to move out of this time of silence, I invite you to hold these words in your consciousness, in your subconsciousness. Stay connected with your breath and that peace that comes from this time. Open your eyes as you so feel called. Stay connected with your breathing, that nice, flowing, rhythmic breath. And just hold this thought, this idea, as Bill takes us through this beautiful musical journey.
All is well. All is well. All is well, and I am grateful. All is well, and now it's time to let it go. All is well, and I am so grateful. Life is good, and so it is. Life is well, and I am grateful. All is well, and now it's time to let go. All is well, and I'm so grateful. Life is good, and so it is. All is well, and I am grateful. Life is good, and so it is. All is well. All is well. Yes, all is well, and I am grateful. Life is good, and all is well.
Beautiful, Bill. Thank you so much. And I don't know about all of you, but when I was listening to him sing that and play that beautiful tune, I just pictured myself floating down the lazy river, you know, in my little inner tube, just hanging out with all good things. And that was just a great vibe. So thank you. And I love the message behind that. All is well, because that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about exploring the theme of being in sync. And I'm not talking about the boy band. Some of you might remember that band from the 90s. We're not going to start doing dances up here and everything. In sync meaning in sync with life. Some people call it the flow. Some people call it the zone. Some people call it serendipity. But all these different words to describe being in this flow of life. Being in this flow when we're in a higher consciousness of all good things. That's living in alignment with divine order. And we're going to be hearing this word a little bit today, divine order. And experiencing the synchronicities that show us we're moving in harmony with the universe. When we're in sync, and again, not the band, life feels a little smoother, and we find ourselves in the right place at the right time for the right reasons. In Romans chapter 8, verse 28, Paul says to the disciples, to his followers, we know that all things work together for good for those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. I want to read that again. We know that all things work together for good for those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. And it's kind of expanding on Jesus' first commandment. You know, love your Lord with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul. And so what are we loving? What is God? God is, some say, love. God is kindness. God is understanding. God is wisdom. So if we're loving those attributes and ideals, we can't help but being in the flow of the highest good that God has for us. Now, by another means, this could work on the negative side too, right? When we're in a lower consciousness, when we're in a consciousness of separation from God, when we're in that consciousness of, oh my God, I suck, my life is horrible, I can't do anything right, everybody's against me and they hate me and I'm just and what happens? We magnetize it to us, right? We become a magnet. So what do we want to attract? So again, it's this idea of working with God, co-creating, flowing, right? Our little inner tube. So this also reminds us that everything in life is connected in part of a greater purpose. So I like you to think of this analogy, of this flow and this rhythm and harmony like music, like this lovely music Bill and Tom create for us every Sunday here, right? And think of these two, right? Think of these two as a duo, as a group. You can also think of a symphony. But each of us, they're both instruments. They're both instruments. And divine order is the conductor. So when they play their part in harmony with the conductor's guidance, that spirit, that essence, that creative source within them, the music they make is beautiful. But what happens if they play out a tune or miss a note, or not just one note? Nobody will notice that, right? But several notes in a row, what? It makes for a very painful experience. Right? And the music feels chaotic and disjointed. Sometimes a lot of groups nowadays, I think they do that on purpose, right? Well, not just nowadays, all through time. My parents used to say the bands I listened to were horrible. But when we trust in divine order, again, trust in divine order, we allow life to orchestrate things perfectly, and we find ourselves in sync with the universe's flow. So this idea of perfect timing or synchronicity is idea of perfect timing is illustrated through synchronicity. And those are moments when life seems to be working in our favor, even though we didn't plan it. In his book, Things to Be Remembered, Lowell Fillmore states, God is the source and principle of all true order. Jesus, the master teacher, shows us in his teachings that to be in divine order, we must love and forgive, be confident and non-resistant, and do the will of God, that creative source in us, rather than our own will, right? It says in the Bible, not my will, but thine. We're also called to be grateful, generous, patient, kind, and above all, have faith in God's goodness. This is what it calls to love the Lord, right? With all your heart, all your mind, all your soul. You're loving those attributes and practicing and being those attributes that God is. And what happens is you're automatically established in this flow of good. So when we're in sync with divine order, we are safe. We're happy, joyful. We're wise, we're patient, we're kind, we're forgiving, we're unafraid. When we synchronize with the flow or universal goodness and we come to experience the blessing of wholeness in our body, mind, soul, and all of our external affairs. Living in sync, we shed the stress and the struggle in our daily activities. We move through our experiences centered in harmony, ease, and grace. That's how I want to move through my experiences, with harmony, ease, and grace. I don't want to be flailing about in the river when I jump off the bridge because I'm like, oh, that water looks like it's moving pretty slow. Anybody done that before? I did that as a kid once. I was about 12. We were rafting down the American River, and all the big kids were jumping off the bridge, and the water didn't look like it was moving that fast, and they're jumping off, and bridge was a little high. And here's Kenny, little 12-year-old Kenny. Oh, yeah, man, I want to be with the big kids. And I'm looking at that river going, oh, it's just flowing. It looks so mellow and nice. And I jump off, and I hit my back, and I'm flailing around. I wasn't the best swimmer, splashing around, and that current starts to carry me off, and people got to jump in and save me. And I was panicking. And that's what happens. We jump off sometimes, and we panic. We're not in that flow of ease, harmony, and grace. We're not centered. I could have told myself, no, I won't drown, but I wasn't in that mindset. So let's take a quick look at this idea of divine order. We always hear it in Unity, right? Right? We all hear that, oh, it's all in divine order. It's all in divine order. And some of us have been around for all, we get it, but some folks that are new to Unity are like, what the heck is that? Divine order, right? So what is divine order? Anybody have any thoughts? Just yell out one word. I know, putting you all on the spot here. That's what Reverend Ken does. Divine order, it's like talking about the will of God or God's divine plan. In some circles and more fundamental circles, they say, well, God has planned out your whole life like a guy with an architect's thing, and he's got a nice little drawing of all the little spots you're going to go in your life, and everything's planned out. But life is a little more fluid, and in Unity, we believe that our thoughts create our reality. So with each thought or each choice we make, our reality can change on a dime. So then how can it be a fixed point from one point to the other? It's constantly shifting or changing. So if we buy into the first principle that there's only one power, one presence in the universe, active in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent, then we can buy into this plan that really the will of God is only to experience our highest good. What a thought that is, right? To experience our highest good, no matter what situation we're in, all we have to do is align ourselves in our thinking with that plan, that order. That's the whole bit. Divine order is a concept that the universe operates according to a harmonious and purposeful design, even when things seem chaotic or out of place. Well, that's a hard one to buy sometimes, right? Oh, great. You're saying God is good, and here's all this stuff happening to me, right? My car just got hit. I got a parking ticket on top of that, and then I'm getting arrested. No, I'm not getting arrested. Don't freak out. No one's waiting for me out there. But anyway, when things seem chaotic or out of place, we can trust with this vision of what divine order really is, that everything is ultimately working for our good. As New Thought leader Myrtle Fillmore once said, and co-founder of Unity, divine order is ever present, and we need only to align ourselves with it to see our good unfold. Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore has this to say when he wrote, "We are in the flow of the universe's abundance when we trust divine order." So in moments of doubt, it's easy to feel like our lives are off course. And I have a word for that. Off course is just such a nice word. My word for that is discombobulated. Discombobulated. Like this morning, I was discombobulated. It was just one of those mornings. You ever have those mornings where the energy's just off and you're just, for whatever reason, and it's maybe not that anything bad is happening to you, you're just discombobulated. You're off your center. You're off your rhythm. You're playing those sour notes. Bill never plays a sour note. So again, divine order reassures us that there's an invisible thread connecting every experience, guiding us towards our highest good. We can trust in that. So that's divine order. Let's talk a little about synchronicity. And the Police, I love music, and the Police have a great song about synchronicity. Synchronicity, synchronicity. Look it up. You will not be able to get that song out of your head. Guaranteed. This weather's a little dry for me, so pardon me. Well, it was Carl Jung that coined the term synchronicity. And what he did is he wanted to describe the meaningful coincidences that seemed too perfect to be random. These moments are the universe's way of winking at us. And I like that saying, the universe's way of winking at us. Like, you know that wink, like, you got it. You got it. This is the way. Come on. Hey, you got it. Thumbs up, right? And so the universe's way of winking at us, and it's giving us signs that we're on the right path. Deepak Chopra, a well-known spiritual teacher, he explains it this way. Synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see. And what are we talking about? I don't think he's talking about with our eyes. Well, it could be with our eyes, but also our spiritual eyes, because our eyes see one thing, but it has to be discerned and interpreted spiritually. And so if we're not in that flow, if we're not aligned with the mind of God, the sight of God, the eyes of God, we can't see those things. When we notice these coincidences, some people call them coincidences, some people don't believe in them, whether it's just running into someone just when we need their help, or finding the perfect book when we need guidance, we're witnessing the universe working in sync with us. And Bill over here, our lovely musician, shared a story with me about this, how this actually works in real life. So Bill, would you share your story?
Some of you, I think I've shared with you that I'm moving, not from here. I'm still going to be here, but I'm in the process of moving. And I knew about this maybe 3 months ago, and I started to work at it and, getting it together and looking at places and all that kind of thing. And it was pretty chaotic to me. It's like, okay, where do I go? What am I going to do? I wanted to stay in the same area generally, and then maybe a couple weeks ago, things started to shift, and I started to do affirmations and prayers and about being in synchronicity, a sense of synchronicity, and that started to really shift for me. I know now, and I think that's a word that I would use for that. To be in sync is to that feeling of knowing that everything is absolutely, because it's not in my hands anyway. I know that. So that has all started to really shift for me, and now I'm really moving in, and I'm looking at places, and I'm with a sense of courage that I can do this. And then, as I said, I've been doing all these affirmations and stuff, and I show up this morning, and Reverend Ken is speaking on synchronicity, which is so perfect. It's all perfect and wonderful. So thank you for the chance to share this. And I really feel like I know the direction I'm going in. And I have to do my part, but it's certainly up to the greater spirit, right? So thank you.
Thank you, Bill. And that's my favorite thing about Unity and coming here is when these principles, we're able to apply these principles and this thinking into our lives, and we see the situations. Because I don't know about you, but I believe life is one great big school. We're here to learn what we need to learn spiritually. And so if we don't embrace these situations, or we take it because Bill could have handled that a lot differently. He could have been like, oh God, it's California. I'm never going to find a place that's going to be under $6,000 for a one-bedroom apartment. And I'm going to have to move to frickin' Iowa or someplace, and it's cold, and I don't like the snow, and it smells like cow dung. But you're still here in California because why? You bought into that. You bought into that. So we're going to use kind of Bill as an example here and there, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing, Bill. But we're going to look at how to live in sync. You ready to learn how to live in sync? Well, some of you probably have it figured out. I don't, so I'm constantly having to work on it. So how do we live a life that's in sync with divine order? Well, the first thing we do is trust. We have to trust. We have to trust the process, but more importantly, we have to begin trusting the source. Again, if we buy in, if we believe that there's only one power, one presence active in our lives, and it is only good, then everything else flows from that. Then we can begin to trust the process, because everything's in movement, right? Everything's a process. So if we trust that everything is unfolding perfectly, and even at those times where it doesn't feel like it, when we're discombobulated, we can move just as the scripture says, all things work together for good. All is well, like that song. I love that. So that's the first thing we need to do is trust the process, trust the source. The second thing we need to keep in mind is to be open to signs. That song, sign, sign, everywhere a sign. And God is always leaving signs for us. You ever have those experiences that like make you go, or some hackles of the neck go up? Like you'll drive past and you'll see a sign and you've been wrestling with something and you're going, oh my gosh, that's what I needed to see. Or a piece of paper, just a random piece of paper laying on the ground, or somebody at the supermarket bumps into you and says something that you needed to hear. You hear something at church, something in the message that comes out that only you heard. I can't tell you how many times that people will come up to me after a service and going, Reverend Ken, I loved it when you talked about this. And I'm scratching my head going, I didn't say that. But that's spirit at work. That's that light. That's that light of discernment in each and every one of you telling you what you need to hear. I'm just the mouthpiece. So again, this idea of being open to signs, paying attention and acknowledging the synchronicities in your life, the big ones and the littlest ones. Are you noticing patterns or coincidences? And I love that idea of patterns because things happen in multiple times. When Spirit is trying to get our attention or point us in a direction, have you ever noticed how things keep happening? My calling to ministry, it was coming to me in all these different ways. I was seeing signs on the road. I was seeing it in billboards. I turned on the radio and I heard the voice going, Ken, it's time. So again, it comes from us in a multitude of different sources. And I think they're too aligned when they're patterns to be random. So these are indicators that you are in the flow. The third one is to stay present. Stay centered and stay present. Because when we're fully present in the moment and living in the now, we're more attuned to the divine guidance that's coming to us. Synchronicity happens in the moment, not when we're dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, fretting about something else, or not forgiving. We want to have a clear and empty receptacle. We want our channel to be clear. Kind of like when we get these, these wireless things we have with walkie-talkies and all this stuff, when we get that static, it's like, well, there's all these different frequencies, trying to use all these different sources trying to use the same frequency. So what we need to do is turn the channel. We need to find that clear channel where we can hear and experience that divine guidance. And lastly, number 4, wait for it. I always wanted to do that. I was going to see how long I could make y'all wait, but I'm not going to do that today. We're trying to keep things concise. Last one, number 4, take inspired action. Take that one step forward, right? Unity principle number 4, it's not enough to know and study these principles and stuff we're teaching. We have to get it out and apply it like Bill over here did. See, I used you again. Bill did over here is took that knowledge and that idea and applied it in his own life. And look what happened. Seemingly miraculous things happen, but they become more commonplace when we are in sync with divine order. So we need to take steps towards our goals, towards our desires. And when we act with faith and intention, the universe responds. I guarantee it. You can call me on it. So these teachings ultimately remind us that when we stop resisting and start trusting, we naturally fall into a sync with the universal rhythm. So as we leave today, let's remember this one thing. Life is like a grand symphony. It's like a musical duo, just playing away. Divine order is conducting everything in perfect harmony. And when we're in tune with that rhythm, right? We're in tune, we're just moving along. We experience the joy of synchronicity, right? I want y'all to just start moving. Just move in your seats a little bit. Just feel that. Feel that synchronicity. Feel that rhythm. When Bill plays his next song, we're going to feel that rhythm. right? Just keep moving. We experience that joy of synchronicity right now, and we trust that everything, even the challenges, are working together for our highest good. And pay attention to those little winks, right? The little winks, the little nods, spiritual breadcrumbs, as I like to call them, from the universe. They're signs that you are in sync with the greater flow of life. So may you move through this week in harmony and in divine order, knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. Namaste and blessings to you all. Stay in the flow.
All right. Thank you so much, Bill. Wow, that was powerful. And Reverend Ken, thank you so much. That was wonderful. I so appreciate you. And perfect timing. What a surprise. What a surprise. So we are in sync with the flow of our heavenly good. Is that right? Woo! We are in sync. And right now we're going to celebrate that with a time of offering. So we are going to, just a reminder, that we thrive by the gifts given to us by you, by those of you who are watching online, and we are so, so grateful. And so we're going to bring our ushers forward with the baskets. Is somebody? Oh, okay. And as they come forward, I'm going to ask you to hold your offering in your hand. If you do this online, go ahead and imagine what you are sharing, what your intention is. As we say, the divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. All right. Thank you so much. And we have different ways, of course, that you can give here at Unity of Orange County. You can go to our website and give through our donation link. We also have a number that you can text as well here on the screen, and you need to message to Unity of OC Give. And once again, we are so grateful to all of you and to all that you bring with your energy and your light and how you help us to thrive and grow each time. All right, so we're going to have, if you want to bring the blessings up, and I can pray over. Bear with me. Thank you. We're in the flow. All right. All right, let's just take a moment to get still, get centered, knowing that we are in the flow of prosperity, abundance, joy, love, and gratitude. And we are so grateful for these gifts. We are honored to have this community, to have this space to share love and create connection. And we just see this energy going out into the world to do so much good. And so it is. Amen. So I want to talk real quick. We're starting a new practice as a community. And I spoke about this a couple weeks ago. If you weren't here, this might be new to you, but we're going to be working on surprise abundance. So the plan with surprise abundance is that we are going to, as a community, work together to shift our consciousness. We have a prayer that we can share with you. Do we have those printouts? Okay, we'll find a way to get those to you. We're going to have, it's an affirmation that we'll say every morning and every evening. And throughout the next 3 months, through the end of the year, we're going to be looking for those opportunities to share surprise abundance. So you might get a special check. You might find $20. You might, we never know where it's coming from. But we're going to open to that as a community, and we're going to open to the joy of giving by tithing back to the church. So we will have all that information for you next week for sure, and we can email it out. All right. Now, do we have any first-time visitors here today? Yay, hello. Let's welcome our first-time visitors. Thank you so much for being here. And we'd like to take a moment just to send you a blessing if you're comfortable. Okay, everyone together, we're going to say, divine love as me. Nope. We love you. We bless you, and we truly appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are. Sorry. Wow. Thank you so much for being here today. We are so grateful.
Let's now stand and
Oh, it's birthday Sunday. Does anyone have a birthday in October? Very cool.
for the peace song and our prayer for protection. Everyone stand. Thank you. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that is meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow.
Let's remember the light of God surrounds us. And the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Yay, God.